30 years after his death, it now seems likely that concealment of error, rather than political conspiracy, best explains the blurring of the facts of Gagarin's last flight.
For decades, the demise of Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space, remained shrouded in secrecy and speculation. Recent declassification of documents has unearthed startling truths, challenging long-held beliefs. This revelation not only rewrites a chapter in space history, but also exposes a web of deception, reigniting curiosity and controversy around this Cold War icon's mysterious end. Number 1. Yuri Gagarin, the hero's journey. Yuri Gagarin's journey to becoming a symbol of Soviet space prowess and a global icon is a tale of extraordinary achievement and enduring legacy. Born on March 9, 1934, in the village of Klushino near Gzhatsk, renamed Gagarin in 1968 in his honor, Gagarin's early life was marked by the hardships of World War II. Despite these challenges, he harbored a deep fascination for the skies, a passion that would shape his destiny. Gagarin's journey into the annals of history began with his education at the 1st Chkalov Air Force Pilot School, where he showed remarkable aptitude for flying. His skills and dedication quickly set him apart, leading to his selection as one of the 20 Soviet Air Force pilots to be part of the Vostok program, the Soviet Union's initiative to launch the first human into space. Gagarin's charisma, skill, and physical fitness made him a standout candidate, eventually leading to his historic selection. On April 12, 1961, Gagarin etched his name in history books as he embarked on the Vostok 1 mission. His spacecraft orbited the Earth at an altitude of about 302 kilometers, making him the first human to journey into outer space and orbit the Earth. This 108-minute flight transformed Gagarin into an international celebrity and a national hero in the Soviet Union. His now famous line, "Poyakali, let's go," uttered as Vostok 1 lifted off, encapsulated the spirit of adventure and exploration that defined the space age. Gagarin's historic spaceflight was more than just a technical achievement. It was a significant victory in the space race, a key aspect of the Cold War rivalry between the Soviet Union and the United States. His accomplishment was a source of immense pride for the Soviet people, symbolizing the technological and ideological prowess of the USSR. Gagarin's image was celebrated in newspapers, stamps, and monuments, and his name became synonymous with Soviet achievements in space. Beyond the glory, Gagarin's life was profoundly affected by his journey into space. He became an ambassador for the Soviet space program, traveling to over 30 countries and meeting with international leaders and dignitaries. His charm and charisma made him a beloved figure worldwide, transcending the political and ideological divides of the time. However, Gagarin's life after his historic flight was not without its challenges. He longed to return to space, but the Soviet authorities, aware of his immense symbolic value, were reluctant to risk his life in another space mission. Gagarin turned to his work as a test pilot and began training for a potential lunar mission. His dedication to advancing Soviet space endeavors remained unwavering despite the restrictions placed on him. Tragically, Gagarin's life was cut short on March 27, 1968, when he died in a jet crash during a routine training flight. His untimely death at the age of 34 plunged the nation and the world into mourning. The circumstances of his death were shrouded in mystery, leading to various theories and speculations. The Soviet government's secrecy and lack of transparency only fueled these rumors, leaving many questions unanswered for decades. In the years following Gagarin's death, his legacy continued to inspire generations. He became a symbol of human aspiration, representing the limitless potential of what humanity could achieve. His story, from humble beginnings to becoming the first human to gaze upon Earth from space, is a testament to the power of dreams and the indomitable human spirit. As the world moved beyond the Cold War, Gagarin's significance transcended his role as a Soviet hero. He came to be recognized globally as a pioneer of space exploration, a man who took a leap into the unknown and expanded the horizons of human possibility. His journey continues to resonate, a reminder of the courage and curiosity that drive us to explore beyond our limits. Yuri Gagarin's life and his extraordinary journey into space remain one of the most remarkable chapters in the history of human exploration. His story is not just about the technological triumph of launching a man into space. It's about the enduring human desire to reach for the stars and the universal quest for knowledge and discovery. As we continue to push the boundaries of space exploration, Gagarin's legacy lived, a hero not just of his time, but for all time. Number 2. The Fateful Day, March 27, 1968. March 27, 1968, dawned as a day of tragedy that would forever be etched in the annals of space history. This was the day Yuri Gagarin, the first human to journey into space, met his untimely demise. The events of this fateful day, long shrouded in mystery and speculation, mark a poignant chapter in the story of human space exploration. Gagarin's day began at Chkalovsky Air Base, where he was scheduled for a routine training flight. Accompanying him was flight instructor Vladimir Seryogin. They were to pilot a MiG-15 UTI, a two-seat advanced jet trainer. The flight was part of Gagarin's ongoing training. Despite his fame, he had continued to hone his skills as a pilot. The flight plan was relatively straightforward. They were to fly a loop from Chkalovsky Air Base, near Moscow, proceed to the town of Kirchach, and then return. This type of training flight was standard practice for keeping pilots' skills sharp and reflexes tuned. Weather conditions that day were reported to be less than ideal, with some cloud cover and turbulence noted, but nothing that would ordinarily deter such a flight. As Gagarin and Seryogin took off in the MiG-15, there was no indication that this flight would be any different from the countless others they had both undertaken. The initial phase of the flight seemed uneventful. However, what transpired in the minutes that followed remains a matter of conjecture and debate. According to reports, at approximately 10:30 a.m., the plane began to descend rapidly. It's unclear what prompted this sudden descent. Over the years, various theories have been proposed, from a collision with a bird or another aircraft, to mechanical failure, to an abrupt maneuver to avoid a weather balloon or another unexpected obstacle. The lack of definitive evidence has left these theories largely speculative. The descent was rapid and uncontrollable. Within moments, the MiG-15 crashed near the town of Kirchach. The impact was devastating. Both Gagarin and Seryogin were killed instantly. The news of Gagarin's death sent shockwaves across the Soviet Union and around the world. The man who had been celebrated as a symbol of human achievement in space was gone. His life ended abruptly at the age of 34. The Soviet government quickly formed a commission to investigate the crash, but the results of this investigation were not made public at the time. This lack of transparency fueled rumors and speculation about the cause of the crash. For decades, the details of what exactly happened on that tragic day remained a closely guarded state secret, leading to numerous conspiracy theories and much speculation. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, the Soviet media eulogized Gagarin as a hero. His death was mourned as a national tragedy. Tributes poured in from around the world, reflecting Gagarin's status as not just a Soviet hero, but a global icon. His ashes were interred in the Kremlin Wall necropolis on Red Square, an honor reserved for the Soviet Union's most esteemed figures. However, the mystery surrounding Gagarin's death persisted. The lack of clear information and the government's reluctance to divulge details only added to the public's curiosity and suspicion. It wasn't until many years later, after the fall of the Soviet Union, that more information about the crash began to emerge, revealing more about the circumstances of that fateful flight. The tragic end of Yuri Gagarin's life stands in stark contrast to the soaring heights he achieved as the first human in space. His death marked the end of an era and left a void in the world of space exploration. Yet, in his death as in his life, Gagarin remained an enduring symbol of human aspiration and the spirit of exploration. The day of March 27, 1968, remains a poignant reminder of the risks and dangers inherent in the quest to explore new frontiers. Gagarin's untimely death underscores the human cost of this pursuit. Despite the years that have passed since that tragic day, the legacy of Yuri Gagarin continues to inspire, his life and death serving as a testament to the courage and determination that define the human spirit's quest to reach for the stars. Number 3. The Veil of Secrecy. The death of Yuri Gagarin, a figure of immense international stature and a national hero of the Soviet Union, was an event of such magnitude that it demanded transparency and clarity. However, the Soviet government's handling of the information surrounding Gagarin's demise was anything but clear. It was shrouded in secrecy, giving rise to decades of speculation, conspiracy theories, and unanswered questions. From the moment the news of Gagarin's tragic accident broke, the Soviet government's approach was to control and restrict the flow of information. In an era where the USSR was deeply invested in maintaining a facade of strength and infallibility, particularly in the arena of space exploration, the untimely death of its greatest space hero was a sensitive issue. The government's response was in line with its usual policy of secrecy, especially regarding incidents that could be perceived as failures or weaknesses. The official announcement of Gagarin's death was terse and lacked details. It simply stated that Gagarin had died in a tragic accident during a routine training flight, without providing further information on the cause of the crash. This lack of detail fueled widespread speculation and rumors, both within the Soviet Union and internationally. The government's investigation into the crash was conducted behind closed doors. The results were not shared with the public, nor were they made available to international aviation authorities. This opacity was typical of the Soviet regime, which often viewed transparency as a potential threat to its authority and control. Over the years, numerous theories emerged to explain the crash. These ranged from plausible explanations, like a collision with a bird or another aircraft, to more elaborate conspiracies involving government cover-ups and sabotage. The uncertainty and mystery surrounding the crash were further compounded by the government's refusal to release documents related to the investigation. This secrecy was not just limited to the circumstances of Gagarin's death, it extended to the handling of his legacy. The Soviet media portrayed Gagarin as a flawless hero, a symbol of Soviet superiority in space. Any information that could tarnish this image, including details about the crash, was suppressed. The narrative around Gagarin was carefully curated to serve the broader objectives of Soviet propaganda. The veil of secrecy maintained by the Soviet government had far-reaching implications. It not only sparked a myriad of conspiracy theories, but also cast a shadow over Gagarin's legacy. The lack of transparency led to a distrust in official accounts, and for many, Gagarin's death became a symbol of the broader issues of secrecy and misinformation that characterized the Soviet regime. It was only after the dissolution of the Soviet Union that some information regarding Gagarin's death began to surface. With the declassification of certain documents and the testimony of witnesses previously silenced, a clearer picture began to emerge. These revelations did not necessarily put all the theories to rest, but they provided a more detailed account of the events leading up to the crash. Despite these later revelations, the full truth about the circumstances of Gagarin's death remains elusive. The legacy of secrecy that surrounded the event has proved difficult to penetrate even years after the fact. The handling of Gagarin's death by the Soviet government remains a poignant example of how state secrecy can obscure the truth, fuel public speculation, and leave a lasting impact on historical understanding. In retrospect, the veil of secrecy that enshrouded Gagarin's death reflects the broader context of the Cold War era, where information was a valuable commodity, often guarded as closely as any physical asset. Gagarin's death and the mystery that followed serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between state power, public perception, and the quest for truth in a highly politicized world. Number 4. Unraveling the truth. The mystery surrounding Yuri Gagarin's tragic death on March 27, 1968, has been a source of enduring intrigue and speculation. Over the years, numerous theories and investigations have emerged, attempting to unravel the truth behind this somber event. These efforts were not only undertaken by official investigators, but also by fellow cosmonauts, journalists, and independent researchers, each contributing pieces to a complex puzzle. One of the earliest theories proposed was a possible collision with a foreign object, such as a bird or another aircraft. This theory was based on the fact that air collisions were not uncommon and could explain the sudden crash. However, due to the lack of substantial evidence and the secrecy surrounding the Soviet investigation, this theory remained speculative. Another prominent theory suggested a mechanical failure in the MiG-15 UTI that Gagarin and Seryogin were piloting. Given the complexity and risks associated with jet flight, a technical malfunction seemed a plausible explanation. However, this theory was also hampered by a lack of concrete evidence, as the Soviet government did not release detailed technical information about the aircraft or the conditions of the flight. One of the more controversial theories involved a cover-up by the Soviet government. This theory posited that the government, keen to maintain the image of its space program and its hero, may have concealed the real cause of the crash. Speculations ranged from a botched experimental flight to espionage-related activities. However, like the others, this theory was largely based on conjecture and lacked hard evidence. In the years following the crash, several of Gagarin's fellow cosmonauts and colleagues joined the quest for answers. Among them was Alexei Leonov, another prominent Soviet cosmonaut, who conducted his own investigation into the crash. Leonov and others in the cosmonaut community expressed frustration with the official secrecy and sought to uncover the truth, not only to honor Gagarin's memory, but also to ensure the safety of future flights. Leonov and other investigators explored various angles, including interviewing witnesses, examining flight records, and analyzing the political and organizational climate of the Soviet space program at the time. Their efforts shed some light on the conditions surrounding the crash, but were unable to provide a definitive explanation. In the post-Soviet era, with the declassification of some government documents and the opening of archives, new information came to light. One significant revelation was the possible role of atmospheric conditions in the crash. Some reports suggested that Gagarin and Seryogin may have encountered unexpected turbulence or wind shear, which could have caused them to lose control of the aircraft. Another theory that emerged involved a possible emergency maneuver. Some investigators proposed that Gagarin and Seryogin might have had to take sudden action to avoid a collision with another aircraft or an unexpected obstacle leading to a loss of control. This theory was supported by some eyewitness accounts and air traffic records that indicated the presence of other aircraft in the area at the time. Despite these investigations and theories, the definitive cause of Gagarin's crash remains elusive. Each theory has its proponents and detractors, and without conclusive evidence, the debate continues. The various investigations have, however, succeeded in painting a more nuanced picture of the circumstances surrounding Gagarin's death. They have highlighted the complexities and dangers inherent in early space and flight exploration, as well as the limitations imposed by the secrecy of the era. The quest to uncover the truth about Gagarin's death goes beyond solving a historical mystery. It reflects a deeper human need to understand our heroes and the events that shape our history. For many, Gagarin is more than a historical figure. He is a symbol of human ambition and the spirit of exploration. Unraveling the truth about his death is part of preserving and understanding his legacy. Number 5. The Leonov Revelation. Among the various efforts to unravel the enigma of Yuri Gagarin's death, the contributions of Alexei Leonov, a fellow cosmonaut and a contemporary of Gagarin, stand out for their depth and insight. Leonov, renowned for being the first human to conduct a spacewalk, embarked on a personal quest to understand the circumstances of Gagarin's tragic accident. His revelations and accounts have provided crucial perspectives, shedding light on a mystery that had been clouded in secrecy for decades. Leonov's interest in the case was driven by a combination of personal connection and professional integrity. As a member of the tight-knit cosmonaut community, Gagarin's death was a profound loss for Leonov. Moreover, his own experiences as a cosmonaut gave him a unique understanding of the risks and complexities involved in aviation and spaceflight, fueling his determination to seek the truth. Leonov's investigation began with an examination of the official account of the crash, which he found unsatisfactory and lacking in detail. He questioned the narrative provided by the Soviet authorities, noting inconsistencies and gaps in the information released. Leonov's status as a respected member of the cosmonaut corps allowed him some access to information that was not available to the public, although he still faced significant obstacles due to the secretive nature of the Soviet space program. One of Leonov's significant contributions was his exploration of the flight conditions on the day of the crash. Through conversations with witnesses and fellow pilots, he gathered information about the weather and air traffic patterns. This investigation led him to propose the theory that Gagarin and Seryogin might have been forced to take evasive action to avoid another aircraft, a move that could have led to a fatal loss of control. Leonov also delved into the technical aspects of the MiG-15 UTI aircraft, analyzing its capabilities and potential vulnerabilities. He consulted with aviation experts and engineers to understand whether a mechanical failure could have been responsible for the crash. His technical analysis, however, did not yield definitive answers, but added another layer of complexity to the understanding of the incident. Another critical area of Leonov's investigation was the political and organizational climate of the Soviet space program at the time. He considered how the pressures and priorities of the program might have impacted flight operations and safety protocols. His insights into the inner workings of the space program provided a valuable context for understanding the potential external factors that could have influenced the events leading up to the crash. Leonov's efforts were not without challenges. He faced bureaucratic hurdles and a lack of cooperation from some officials, indicative of the broader issues of secrecy and control within the Soviet system. Despite these obstacles, his determination to uncover the truth never waned. Leonov's work brought to light several important aspects of the crash, contributing to a more nuanced and informed understanding of the event. One of Leonov's most significant revelations was his assertion that the Soviet government had knowledge of factors that contributed to the crash, but chose to keep this information secret. He suggested that this secrecy was driven by a desire to protect the image of the space program and its heroes. While Leonov's claims were difficult to verify conclusively, they added an important dimension to the public's understanding of Gagarin's death. The Leonov revelation, as it came to be known, did more than just contribute to the narrative of Gagarin's death. It challenged the culture of secrecy and misinformation that had long characterized the Soviet space program. It highlighted the need for transparency and accountability, not only in the context of space exploration, but in all aspects of governance and public life. Leonov's work in unraveling the mystery of Gagarin's death exemplifies the enduring human quest for truth and understanding. His efforts have been instrumental in keeping the discussion and investigation into Gagarin's death alive, ensuring that the quest for answers continues. Number 6. The aftermath and continuing questions. The declassification of certain documents related to Yuri Gagarin's death brought a seismic shift in how his legacy, the space community, and public perception were shaped. The revelation of previously hidden information had profound consequences, raising as many questions as it answered and leaving a lasting impact on the understanding of this tragic event. One of the immediate effects of the declassification was the re-evaluation of Gagarin's legacy. For decades, Gagarin had been celebrated as a symbol of Soviet space achievement, a flawless hero whose memory was carefully cultivated by the Soviet government. However, the new information that emerged painted a more complex picture. Gagarin, once seen as invincible, was now revealed to be vulnerable, subject to the same risks and uncertainties that accompany space exploration. This re-evaluation did not diminish his status as a pioneering cosmonaut, but added a layer of humanity to his legacy, making him more relatable and real. Within the space community, the declassification had a significant impact. It underscored the importance of transparency and accountability in space exploration. The veil of secrecy that had surrounded Gagarin's death was a reflection of broader issues within the Soviet space program, where concerns about image and prestige often took precedence over safety and open communication. The revelation served as a cautionary tale, reminding space agencies around the world of the need to prioritize safety, honesty, and learning from past mistakes. Public perception of Gagarin and the space program also evolved in the wake of the declassification. The notion of the infallible hero was replaced by a more nuanced understanding of the challenges and risks faced by astronauts and cosmonauts. The space race, once seen as a triumph of technology and ideology, was now seen as a complex endeavor with its share of setbacks and uncertainties. This shift in perception did not diminish the awe and wonder associated with space exploration, but deepened the appreciation for the courage and determination required to venture into the cosmos. The declassification also raised new questions that continue to linger. While some aspects of the crash were clarified, many details remain elusive. The exact sequence of events leading up to the crash, the role of atmospheric conditions, and the extent of the government's knowledge about contributing factors all remain subjects of debate. These unanswered questions serve as a reminder that the full truth about Gagarin's death may never be known with certainty. The ongoing quest for answers is a testament to the enduring fascination with Gagarin and the quest to understand the circumstances of his death. Independent researchers, journalists, and aviation enthusiasts continue to investigate the crash, piecing together fragments of information and exploring new leads. The determination to uncover the truth remains undiminished, driven by a sense of duty to honor Gagarin's memory and a desire for historical accuracy. In the broader context of space exploration, Gagarin's legacy continues to inspire generations of astronauts and cosmonauts. His pioneering spirit and the courage he displayed in the face of the unknown serve as a beacon for those who follow in his footsteps. His life and the mystery surrounding his death are reminders that the pursuit of knowledge and exploration is not without risks, but is a testament to the indomitable human spirit.